In the wood-turning world, we call these defects. Deep cracks and splits that threaten to tear the piece apart. But today, we aren't hiding them. We've filled these cracks with red epoxy. Because today's story isn't just about wood. It's about what hides in the shadows of the Hindu Kush Mountains. It's about a 12-foot tall secret that the US military supposedly buried in 2002. Today, we're telling a tale of the Giant of Kandahar. Now, let's get into it. Our story begins in 2002, during the height of the war in Afghanistan. A US Army infantry unit went missing in a remote mountainous region of Kandahar. They weren't just late to check in, they vanished. Silence on the comms. No tracks. Just gone. The military sent a special forces squad to find the missing soldiers. Among them, according to whistleblowers, was a man often referred to as Dan, a high-level operative who would later break his silence about what they found at the mouth of a massive, desolate cave. The squad reached the cave and found something horrifying. US military gear scattered in the dirt. Shredded. As they moved closer, they found bones that looked like human bones covered in blood. The smell hit them, the stench of rotting meat. Then it emerged. Imagine a creature standing 12 to 15 feet tall. Flaming red hair, 6 fingers on each hand, double rows of teeth. This isn't just a campfire story. This description matches the Nephilim of biblical lore and the Rakshasas of ancient Indian texts. As the whistleblower told it, the giant didn't hesitate. It lunged with a massive spear, impaling a soldier named Dan, often identified as Dan or Specialist Dan, right through his chest, lifting him into the air like waving a flag. While I work on cutting out a foot, let's look at the history. Is it possible? In 1891, the Smithsonian reportedly found a 7-foot skeleton in an Illinois mound. In the 1500s, Spanish explorers in South America recorded encounters with men so tall that the Spaniards' heads reached only to their waists. In Kandahar, the soldiers opened fire. At first, the soldiers' bullets weren't making an impact. The giant's skin was hard and tough to penetrate. Then one of the soldiers yelled, "Aim for the head." Supposedly took 30 seconds of sustained fire from M4, carbines, and 50 caliber Barrett rifles to bring it down. Think about that. 30 seconds of lead. They described the giant's skin as having a leathery, prehistoric toughness, much like this seasoned walnut. If you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm using CA glue to fill a small knot. This will keep any loose dead wood from falling out and give it a rustic look. After the giant fell, the military allegedly flew in a Chinook helicopter. They palletized the creature and whisked it away to an undisclosed location. Some say Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. The soldiers were told to sign non-disclosure agreements. Forget what you saw. It never happened. Reminds me of the Epstein files. But why the secrecy if giants exist? It rewrites our entire evolutionary history. It suggests that the myths of the Greeks, the Hebrews, and the Native Americans weren't just stories. They were witness accounts of a secondary branch of humanity. In the lore surrounding the Giant of Kandahar, the idea that the creature was a weapon takes 2 distinct forms. One where the giant was a natural protector, and another where it was a biological target. While there is no evidence the military used the giant as a weapon, several theories suggest why they were so interested in it. The guardian of the cave. In this version of the story, the giant wasn't a military asset, but an ancient territorial inhabitant. Local Afghan tribes reportedly feared these red-haired men for centuries. Some theorists suggest the giant was guarding something inside the cave, possibly ancient technology, Nephilim artifacts, or a stargate. If the military encountered it, the theory isn't that they built it, but that they had to neutralize it to gain access to whatever it was protecting, the living fossil or bioasset. A darker subset of conspiracy theories suggests that if such a creature existed, the military's primary interest would be its biology. A 13-foot humanoid with double the muscle density and 6 fingers, suggesting higher dexterity, would be a gold mine for super soldier programs. The story claims the body was immediately flown to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio, a hub for unidentified materials. The theory here is that the giant was treated as a black site biological asset to be studied for muscle structure, bone density, and DNA. Some skeptics argue that the story itself was a weapon, a form of psychological warfare, or a ghost story designed to keep soldiers alert or to explain away a botched operation where a squad went missing. By blaming a biblical giant, the failure becomes an act of God or myth rather than a tactical error. But why the secrecy? If the giant was a weapon or a significant biological find, the cover-up serves a specific purpose: technological edge. If you find a creature that defies the laws of biology as we know them, you don't show the world. You keep it in a lab to see if you can replicate its strength or resilience before your adversaries do. Since the legend often ends with the giant's body being flown to Wright-Patterson AFB, it's worth noting that this base is essentially the Area 51 of the Midwest. It's where the military handles their most sensitive aerospace and foreign technology recovery. The reason Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, PAF, is the X-Files capital of the Midwest boils down to its history as the headquarters for Project Blue Book. Between 1947 and 1969, this was the official center for the U.S. government's investigation into UFOs and unexplained phenomena. If the Giant of Kandahar was recovered, PAF is exactly where a foreign technology division would take it to analyze non-standard biology or gear. The legend of Hangar 18 and the Blue Room. The specific site within the base associated with these recoveries is Hangar 18. While the Air Force officially states there is no Hangar 18, only a Building 18, the legend persists. Rumors since the 1940s suggest the base contains cryogenic freezing cells used to store non-human remains. Allegedly a highly classified vault where physical evidence from the Roswell crash and subsequent recoveries, like the Kandahar giant, is kept. Even high-ranking officials were kept out. The 1964 presidential nominee famously stated he tried to gain access to the Blue Room, but was told by General Curtis LeMay that if he ever asked again, he'd be court-martialed. Why PAF for the Kandahar giant? The base is home to the National Air and Space Intelligence Center, NASIC. Their job is reverse engineering, taking foreign or unknown technology and figuring out how it works. If the giant had advanced weaponry, like the spear mentioned in reports, or unique physiology, 6 fingers, double rows of teeth, NASIC would be the primary group tasked with studying its genetic structure to see if it could be applied to modern science or defense. A lot of these stories are fascinating with so much information to unpack. What do you think? Did the Giant of Kandahar exist? Were giants real? If giants were real, why do we have giants' bones but have dinosaur bones? The red epoxy looks like the lifeblood of a creature that shouldn't exist, trapped in the grain of history. Whether you believe the story of the Kandahar giant or think it's a modern myth born of wartime stress, you can't deny the power of the image: a lone cave, a missing squad, and a red-headed titan from another time. Some things are better left buried in the mountains or turned into art. Thanks for joining me on this build. I appreciate you sticking with me till the end. Let me know what you think of the bowl in the comments below. What are some stories you would like to hear in future videos? I'll see you on the next one.